The scenes at the Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul were ghastly. Two bloody terror attacks, the first since the Taliban took control. The situation now makes it harder for India's mission evacuation from Kabul. Mission Devi Shakti. The big question remains, how will India keep up with this race against time for completing evacuation of those still in Afghanistan?
Over 100 persons, Afghan citizens and US personnel blown to pieces. One of the worst terror attacks, even by Kabul's terrible standards. A national capital drenched in blood. But as desperate crowds return to the perimeter of the Kabul airport, it's a race against time for India. 20 Indian nationals and 140 Afghan Sikhs and Hindus remain marooned in the world's most dangerous city. And the effort to pull them out has just become a hair-raising race against time. India today has learnt that some of the stranded have been trying to make their way into the airport, but stopped and turned back by the Taliban.
हम लोग फ्लाइट के लिए वेट कर रहे थे और अंदर तालिबानों ने जाने नहीं दिया और फिर उन्होंने हमें वापस भेज दिया। हमारे पास गुरु ग्रंथ साहब भी थे, हमारे जो हॉली बुक है, और फायरिंग शुरू कर दी। वहाँ पे उन्होंने हवाई फायरिंग करके सबको भगा दिया। तालिबान ने हवाई फायरिंग की, बहुत सारी बसेस थी। हामिद करजई एयरपोर्ट जो है इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट, उसका मेन गेट उन्होंने टेक ओवर कर लिया और अभी उन्होंने आज रात को 12 बजे अनाउंस किया है कि जो अफगानी नागरिक हैं उनको हम बाहर जाने नहीं देंगे।
The question now is how to pull these stranded citizens out. With the situation rapidly deteriorating following Thursday night's terror attack, the mission has become enormously more delicate, rendering the Indian nationals and the Afghan Sikhs and Hindus totally vulnerable. The 20 Indian nationals are the last of those who reached out to the Indian government for evacuation. But there could be more Indians who are yet to reach out for various reasons. And others who do not wish to return to India despite the terrifying situation in Afghanistan, compelled possibly by work or other circumstances. India has pulled out over 800 people from Afghanistan since August 15th. Like the persons currently stranded, most of these are Indian nationals and members of the Afghan Sikh and Hindu communities. The latest was a batch of 180 persons who were brought to Delhi from Kabul in a military aircraft on Thursday. India has several aircraft, both civil and military, ready to swoop in and pull out stranded nationals. But the government has assured the country that all efforts are being made.
We have brought back most of the Indians, but not all of them. There are still a few out there. Definitely we will try and bring out everybody. We have also brought out some Afghan citizens who wanted to come to India at this point of time.
The worsening situation outside Kabul airport has made air evacuations potentially deadly. Just hours before Thursday night's terror attack, a departing Italian aircraft with evacuees drew dangerous ground fire from an unknown source. With August 31st just 2 days away and the situation promising to worsen further, all eyes are now on India's final push for the pullout. With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And even as efforts are on to bring back Indians stranded in one of the world's most dangerous cities at this point of time, Kabul, here is what we know about Indians stranded in Kabul. There are about 20 Indians and more than 100 Afghan Sikhs and Afghan Hindus who are stranded in Kabul at this point of time. They've apparently all been taken to the Karte Parwan Gurudwara Sahib. So they are at the Karte Parwan Gurudwara Sahib, and this Gurudwara, we are told, is about 15 kilometers from the Hamid Karzai International Airport, which was the prime target of the Islamic State of Khorasan terror attack. Now, it is an extremely difficult task to get about 120 to 140. Those are the figures that we have, approximate figures at this stage, to bring back Afghan Sikhs, Afghan Hindus, other Indians and Indian friends who are seeking to come back to India after this brutal Islamic State terrorist attack. And as Talvinder Singh was mentioning in that conversation with India Today's news director Rahul Kanwal, that even yesterday they tried to come to the airport, the Indian aircraft was there, but they couldn't make it because of the Taliban checkpoints. They weren't permitted to cross over. Now, a day after the Kabul airport carnage, the world is still reflecting on the extent of the attack. Distress scenes outside hospitals. What's worse, people are once again forced to queue up at the airport, rushing back to the airport, risking their lives once again, at least to have a chance at life.
Panic and chaos on the streets of Kabul as the Taliban took over. Then came Thursday's twin explosions and senseless carnage, which killed over 100, making an already dire situation even worse. Usually there's an eerie calm and the streets are deserted after a terror attack. But such is the plight of the people living in Afghanistan that a sea of humanity was back on the roads leading to the Hamid Karzai International Airport, desperate to catch a flight out of Kabul.
मैं इस वक्त काबुल नेशनल एयरपोर्ट में नज़दीक में हूँ। इधर जो लोग हैं लास्ट शाम जो 2 धमाके हुए हैं उस डर की वजह से लोग इधर खड़े हैं और इधर जो सिक्योरिटी लोग हैं अंदर इजाज़त नहीं दे सकते क्योंकि एहतिमाल भी है कि दूसरा धमाका भी हो जाए।
As people risked their lives for a chance at freedom, grim faces stood outside the hospital in Kabul searching for their relatives.
Eyewitnesses says here also that they lost their members and they don't have any information about them, that they are injured or killed by that last night incident, and they don't have any information right now about their family members.
Fear, uncertainty, danger, death. This is what the ordinary man and woman on the street of Kabul has to face every single day. And there seems to be no escape in sight from this deteriorating and living hell. Bureau Report, India Today.
At least 2 explosions were reported near Kabul's Hamid Karzai International Airport amid a huge and chaotic evacuation from Afghanistan. We are told at least 90 Afghans are dead and 150 Afghans are injured. 13 US service personnel also lost their lives. India Today's Naveed Sultani reports from the streets of Kabul, bringing you hair-raising live reports on Thursday's attacks.
Death, despair, and chaos. Hours after intelligence alerts warned of a terror attack, 2 bomb explosions rocked the Afghanistan capital on Thursday. The first blast took place at the Abbey Gate of the Hamid Karzai International Airport. The cloud of smoke above the airport could be seen from far away. Moments later, as the first images started trickling in, the real extent of the damage became clear. There were casualties, many of them. Even as injured were being ferried to the nearest hospital for treatment.
I'm going now to hospital on the way. You see in the photo, in a video, the people are killed in this explosion to the airport area. Now I'm on the way, go to the emergency hospital, to the Kabul Emergency Hospital.
Came another blast. This one near the Baron Hotel that is housing British troops.
It was time for the evening prayer when an explosion happened near the airport. I saw about 70 vehicles carried around 150 injured to the hospital. People were stranded at the airport gate for evacuation when the blast happened. The ambulances are carrying the injured and dead. My cousin was also wounded on his leg, so we brought him to the hospital.
The Taliban has called the bombings, the first after it took over Kabul, a terrorist attack. The Islamic State Khorasan has claimed responsibility for the terror attacks. The early indications suggest that it was a suicide attack. Pentagon has confirmed the US too has suffered casualties. Children and women were among those who lost their lives.
This guy is injured in this explosions. You see, I want to go to hospital in my car. This is my car, and this guy is injured in the explosion today in airport area. There is not place for some injured and killed people. I want to travel and displace this injured people to other hospital.
What was feared is now becoming a reality.
A lot of injured people, they're civilian, they came to a hospital, they're emergency, and they don't have a good health.
In an Afghanistan where several players are jostling for power, terror is having an easy run. Bureau Report, India Today.